Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Discovery, watching the massive wall of energy that stretched across space. It looked like a giant curtain made of lightning and fire. For thousands of years, no ship had ever gotten past this barrier. Every alien race had tried. Every alien race had failed. The Discovery was different from other ships. It was built by humans using new quantum technology that other species didn't understand. Dr. Lisa Parker had spent 5 years working on the quantum engines. She believed human technology might work differently than alien tech. "Captain, we're getting close to the wall," said Navigator Alex Turner from his seat. The young man's hands moved quickly over his controls. "All sensors are reading normal energy patterns." Jake nodded. They were here to study the barrier, not to break through it. The mission was simple. Take measurements, collect data, and go home. The Galactic Council wanted to know more about the wall that kept everyone trapped in their small part of the universe. Dr. Parker looked up from her science station. Her face was excited but worried. "Captain, I'm seeing something strange. Our quantum engines are making the barrier react. The energy patterns are changing." "What do you mean changing?" Jake asked. He had been a ship captain for 15 years, but he had never seen anything like this. "The wall usually pushes ships away with great force, but our engines seem to be making it weaker in some spots. The quantum energy is creating vibrations that match the barrier's frequency." Commander Kate Walsh, Jake's second in command, walked over to look at the readings. "Are you saying we might be able to get through?" "I don't know," Lisa said, "but this has never happened before with any other ship." Chief Engineer Mike Bradley's voice came through the communication system from the engine room. "Captain, the quantum cores are running hot. Something about being near the wall is making them work harder." Jake frowned. This was supposed to be a safe mission. "Mike, can you keep the engines stable?" "I think so, but the readings are all over the place. It's like the engines want to push us forward into the wall." Lieutenant Sam Rodriguez looked up from his communication station. "Captain, I'm getting reports from other ships that tried to approach the wall. All of them were thrown back violently. Some were destroyed, but we're just sitting here like the wall doesn't mind us." Jake felt a chill run down his back. Humans had only been part of the galactic community for 50 years. They were still the new species, still learning about space and alien technology. But now it seemed like their technology was special in ways no one understood. "Dr. Parker, run a full tower scan of the barrier. I want to know everything about how it's reacting to us." Lisa's fingers flew over her controls. "The quantum resonance is getting stronger. Captain, I think I know why other species can't get through. Their technology works with the barrier's energy. Ours works against it." "Explain that in simple terms," Jake said. "Think of it like this. The barrier is like a locked door. Other species have been trying to break it down with hammers. But we have the key." Commander Walsh looked worried. "Even if we have the key, should we use it? What if there's a good reason the wall exists?" Before Jake could answer, Chief Security Officer Dan Collins called out from his station. "Captain, massive solar flare coming in from the nearby star. It's going to hit us in 30 seconds. Jake's training kicked in. "All hands, brace for impact." "Mike, can the shields handle it?" Mike's voice came back strained. "Shields are up, but this is a big one. The quantum cores are already working hard. This might push them over the limit." The solar flare hit the Discovery like a giant wave. The ship shook and the lights flickered. But something unexpected happened. Instead of damaging the ship, the extra energy flowed into the quantum cores and then out toward the barrier. Dr. Parker watched her instruments with wide eyes. "Captain, the flare energy is combining with our quantum field. It's creating a massive resonance pulse." "What does that mean?" Jake asked, though he was afraid he already knew. "It means we're about to punch a hole in the wall." The barrier in front of them began to ripple and twist. A section about the size of their ship started to thin out, becoming almost transparent. Through it, Jake could see stars that no one had ever seen before. "Navigator, can you plot a course through that opening?" Jake asked quickly. Alex's hands moved fast over his controls. "Yes, sir, but it's closing fast. We have maybe 2 minutes." Jake had to make a choice. They could try to back away and play it safe, or they could become the first ship in galactic history to break through the wall. He thought about all the species that had tried and failed. He thought about the mystery of what lay beyond. All hands, prepare for jump. We're going through. Captain, Commander Walsh said quietly. We don't know what's on the other side. We don't know what's on this side either, Jake replied. But we're about to find out. Alex, take us through. The Discovery moved forward into the opening. The barrier energy crackled around them like lightning. Jake felt the ship shake as they passed through the wall. For a moment, everything went white. Then they were through. Jake looked at the view screen and saw something that made his heart race. Space looked different here. The stars were arranged in patterns he had never seen. And in the distance, something massive was moving toward them. Mike, damage report, Jake called out. Main engines are down, life support is working but weak. We need time to fix things before we can go anywhere. Jake realized they were trapped beyond the wall until repairs. We're done. Whatever was out here, they would have to face it alone. Dr. Parker, start scanning everything. I want to know what we've gotten ourselves into. As the Discovery drifted in unknown space, Jake wondered if breaking through the wall was the best thing humanity had ever done, or the worst mistake in galactic history. The Discovery floated in space that looked completely wrong. Captain Jake Morrison stared at the main screen and felt his stomach turn. This wasn't like any space he had ever seen. There were no stars burning bright, no planets spinning around suns, no colorful gas clouds or asteroid fields. Everything was dark and empty. This doesn't make sense, Dr. Lisa Parker said from her science station. Space can't be this empty. There should be something here. Anything. Commander Kate Walsh checked her instruments twice. All sensors show the same thing. No energy sources, no matter signatures, no radiation. It's like we entered a place where nothing exists. Jake had been in space for many years. He had seen dead systems where all the stars had burned out. He had seen empty regions between galaxies. But this was different. This felt like someone had taken a giant eraser and removed everything from a huge area of space. Chief Engineer Mike, Bradley's voice came from the engine room. Captain, I've got the life support systems working better now, but the main engines are still down. We need at least 6 hours to get them running. Keep working on it, Mike. We need to be able to move, if something happens. Lieutenant Sam Rodriguez looked up from his communication station. His face was confused. Captain, I'm picking up something strange. Very faint signals coming from deeper in the empty space. What kind of signals? Jake asked. They're regular pulses, like a heartbeat, but much slower. One pulse every few minutes, and they're definitely artificial. Someone or something is making them. Dr. Parker ran over to Sam's station to look at the readings. These patterns are unlike anything in our databases. They don't match any known alien communication methods. Jake felt a chill. If there was something out here making signals, where was it? And why was everything else empty? Can you trace where the signals are coming from? He asked. Sam worked on his controls for several minutes. Yes, sir. The source is about 2 days' travel from here, deeper into the empty zone. Navigator Alex Turner plotted the course on his screen. Captain, if we go that direction, we'll be moving further away from the barrier. If it closes completely, we might not be able to get back home. Jake thought about this. They could wait here for repairs and try to return through the barrier, or they could investigate the mysterious signals and maybe find answers about this strange place. We came here to explore, Jake decided. When the engines are fixed, we head toward those signals. 6 hours later, Mike had the engines working again. Not at full power, but enough to move. The Discovery began traveling deeper into the empty space. As they moved, the crew watched their sensors carefully, but everything stayed the same. Dark, cold, and lifeless. On the second day, Alex called out from his navigation station. Captain, I'm seeing something on long-range sensors, something big. Jake looked at the main screen as Alex put the image up. In the distance, barely visible, was a shape that didn't belong in empty space. It was huge and perfectly geometric, like a giant crystal floating in the darkness. How big is that thing? Commander Walsh asked. Dr. Parker checked her readings. It's the size of a moon, maybe bigger, and it's not natural. The shape is too perfect. As they got closer, more shapes appeared, dozens of them, all different sizes but all with perfect geometric forms. Triangles, spheres, cubes, and shapes that had no names. They hung in space like decorations on an invisible tree. They look ancient, Sam said quietly. But also like they were built yesterday. No damage, no wear marks. Chief Security Officer Dan Collins had been quiet during the journey, but now he spoke up. Captain, I don't like this. These things have been sitting here in perfect condition for who knows how long. That's not normal. Jake agreed, but his curiosity was stronger than his fear. Dr. Parker, can you scan the nearest structure? Lisa worked on her instruments for several minutes. I'm getting some readings, but they're strange. The structure seems to be made of materials I don't recognize. And Captain, I think it's dormant, like it's sleeping. Sleeping? There are energy patterns inside it, but they're very low, like a computer in standby mode. The Discovery moved closer to the nearest structure. It was shaped like a massive diamond with thousands of flat surfaces. Each surface reflected their ship's lights in different colors. Suddenly, Sam called out, in alarm. Captain, the signals are getting stronger, much stronger. As if responding to his words, the diamond structure began to glow. Soft blue light started flowing along lines carved into its surface. The light grew brighter and brighter until the entire structure was glowing like a blue star. It's waking up, Dr. Parker said in amazement. Then beams of light shot out from the structure and surrounded the Discovery. The beams didn't hurt the ship, but they scanned every part of it. Jake could feel the alien technology looking at them, studying them, learning about them. Should we try to communicate? Commander, Walsh asked. Before Jake could answer, more structures began lighting up. One by one, the geometric shapes came alive with different colored lights: blue, green, purple, gold. Soon the empty space around them was filled with glowing alien constructs. Captain, Sam said, his voice shaking slightly, the signals are changing. They're becoming more complex. I think they're trying to talk to us. Jake realized they had found something incredible. These weren't just old buildings floating in space. They were something alive, something intelligent. And they had been waiting here in the darkness for a very long time. All stations, stay alert, but don't make any threatening moves. We might be about to make first contact with something older than our entire civilization. The Discovery hung in space surrounded by glowing alien structures, while unknown intelligences reached out to touch the minds of the first beings to find them in millions of years. The glowing structures surrounded the Discovery like giant jewels in the darkness. Captain Jake Morrison watched as patterns of light moved across their surfaces. It looked like the aliens were trying to talk, but in a language made of colors and shapes instead of words. Dr. Amy Foster, the ship's language expert, had been working for hours to understand the signals. Her station was covered with charts and diagrams as she tried to make sense of the alien communication. Captain, I think I'm starting to understand, Amy said excitedly. They're not using sound or radio waves. They're communicating with pure energy patterns. Each color means something different. Lieutenant Sam Rodriguez looked up from his station. The signals are getting more organized too, like they're learning how to talk to us. Dr. Lisa Parker was studying the energy readings from the structures. Captain, these things are incredibly old. My scans suggest they've been here for millions of years, but the technology is more advanced than anything we've ever seen. Jake felt a mix of wonder and worry. These beings had technology that made human science look like children's toys. If they were hostile, the Discovery wouldn't stand a chance. Suddenly, the light patterns changed completely. Instead of random colors, words began appearing on the main screen. Human words in perfect English. We greet the small travelers from beyond the barrier. Commander Kate Walsh stepped closer to the screen. How do they know our language? Amy was studying her instruments frantically. They've been scanning our computer systems. They learned English from our databases in just a few minutes. More words appeared on the screen. We are the Watchers. We have waited long for visitors to arrive. Your species is young but shows promise. Jake decided to respond directly. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the human ship Discovery. We mean no harm. We're explorers trying to understand this region of space. We know what you are, young captain. Your species has done something no other has achieved in many ages. You have broken through the barrier. Why couldn't other species get through? Jake asked. The answer came slowly, as if the watchers were choosing their words carefully. The barrier was not built to keep your people in. It was built to keep something else out. Dr. Parker looked alarmed. What kind of something? New images appeared on the screen. They showed a galaxy full of different alien species, all working together in peace. Cities that spanned entire worlds. Ships that could travel between stars in moments. It looked like paradise. This was our galaxy long ago, the Watchers explained. We were many species, united in knowledge and friendship. We thought we were safe. We thought we knew everything about the universe. The images changed to show something terrible. Dark shapes moving through space, consuming entire star systems. Planets disappearing into nothingness. Civilizations screaming into silence. Then came the Devourers. They do not destroy matter or energy. They destroy reality itself. Everything they touch stops existing as if it never was. Jake felt sick looking at the images. Entire worlds full of people, just gone. What happened to your people? We fought, but physical weapons are useless against beings that exist outside normal space and time. We learned that only one type of technology could hurt them. Quantum anchors that lock reality into stable patterns. Amy was writing notes as fast as she could. Are you saying you won the war? We did not win. We sacrificed everything to create a stalemate. Our people gave up their physical forms to become pure energy. We became the Watchers, eternal guardians, maintaining the barrier that keeps the Devourers away from your young galaxy. The truth hit Jake like a punch to the stomach. You've been trapped here for millions of years protecting us. It was our choice. Your galaxy needed time to grow and develop. We hoped that someday new species would evolve with the ability to help us finish the fight. Commander Walsh asked the question Jake was afraid to hear answered. Are the Devourers still out there? Yes. They wait beyond the barrier, patient as death itself. They know the barrier weakens over time. Soon, it will fail completely. Dr. Parker was studying her instruments with growing alarm. Captain, I'm detecting massive energy signatures approaching from deep space. Something big is coming this way. The Watchers' communication became urgent. They have sensed the breach you created. The Devourers are coming to investigate. Your species was not ready for this knowledge, but time has run out. Jake felt the weight of responsibility crushing down on him. What can we do? We're just one small ship. Humans are special, young captain. Your species thinks in ways others do not. Most aliens are logical and orderly in their thoughts. But humans are chaotic, creative, unpredictable. This makes you natural pilots for quantum anchor technology. More images appeared, showing weapons that looked like crystalline frameworks surrounding ships. These quantum anchors require intuitive understanding to operate. Most species cannot use them effectively, but humans can feel how reality works and bend it to their will. Chief Engineer Mike Bradley's voice came through the communication system. Captain, those energy signatures are getting closer. Whatever they are, they're huge. The Watcher's message became desperate. You must return to your galaxy and warn your people. The barriers will not hold much longer. All species must work together to prepare for war. How do we fight something that destroys reality? Jake asked. With reality itself. The quantum anchors create stable zones where the laws of physics cannot be changed. Within these zones, the Devourers can be hurt, but it requires the combined knowledge of all galactic species to build enough anchors. Jake realized the terrible truth. Humanity had accidentally started a countdown to the greatest war in universal history, and somehow, they had become the key to winning or losing everything. Will you help us? He asked the Watchers. We will give you our knowledge and what power we can spare. But the real fight must be won by the living. We can only watch and guide. As massive shadows began to appear at the edge of their sensors, Jake knew their exploration mission had become something much more important. They had to get back home and convince every species in the galaxy to unite against an enemy that threatened existence itself. The first sign of the Devourers was wrong gravity. Chief Engineer Mike Bradley felt his stomach drop as he floated in the engine room, even though the artificial gravity was working perfectly. Tools began falling upward. Metal walls rippled like water. "Captain," Dr. Lisa Parker called from the bridge, her voice shaking. "The approaching energy signatures are doing something to space itself. Physics is breaking down around us." Captain Jake Morrison gripped his chair as the Discovery shuddered. Through the main screen, he could see the Watcher structures flickering like dying lights. Their perfect geometric shapes were becoming blurred and twisted. "What are we looking at?" Commander Kate Walsh asked, pointing at the view screen. In the distance, shadows were moving between the stars. But these weren't normal shadows. They seemed to exist in more dimensions than human eyes could see. When Jake tried to focus on them directly, his vision went fuzzy and his head hurt. Dr. Amy Foster was working frantically at her language station. "The Watchers are sending us urgent messages. They say the Devourers exist partially outside our reality. That's why they're so hard to see and understand." Lieutenant Sam Rodriguez looked up from his communication panel, his face pale. "Captain, I'm getting readings that don't make sense. My instruments show that some of our crew members are aging rapidly, while others are getting younger. Time is going crazy." Jake felt his own timeline shifting. For a moment, he was a child again, playing in his backyard on Earth. Then he was ancient, his bones creaking. Then he was back to normal, but the memory of both experiences remained. "All hands, this is the captain," Jake announced over the ship's communication system. "We're experiencing reality distortions. Stay calm and report any unusual effects immediately." Chief, Security Officer Dan Collins had been monitoring the approaching entities. "Captain, I count at least 12 large contacts. They're moving in formation like a military fleet, but they're not using normal space travel." "What do you mean?" Jake asked. "They're not moving through space. They're moving space around them. Reality bends to let them pass." Dr. Parker was studying her instruments with wide eyes. "Captain, I'm detecting quantum fluctuations unlike anything I've ever seen. These things are causing the fundamental forces of nature to collapse wherever they go." The Watcher's message appeared on the screen again. "The Devourers have found the breach. You must leave immediately. We will try to hold them back, but our power is limited." Jake watched as the Watcher structures began to glow brighter, preparing for battle. But he could see they were vastly outnumbered. The approaching Shadow Fleet was enormous. "Captain," Chief Tactical Officer Ryan Bell called out, "should I prepare weapons?" Before Jake could answer, the Watchers sent another message. "Physical weapons are useless against the Devourers. They will only waste your energy. You must have quantum anchors to fight them." "How do we get quantum anchors?" Jake asked. "We will transfer the technology to your ship, but be warned, using quantum anchors requires complete understanding of how reality works. Your species shows promise, but you are still learning." Suddenly, the Discovery was surrounded by streams of energy from the Watcher structures. The ship's systems began changing, upgrading themselves with alien technology. In the engine room, Mike watched in amazement as new crystalline frameworks grew around the quantum cores. "Captain, something incredible is happening down here," Mike reported. "The engines are transforming. I can feel the ship connecting to the fabric of space itself." Dr. Parker was monitoring the changes from her science station. "The quantum anchors are integrating with our systems. But Captain, I'm reading massive power requirements. Using these weapons will drain our energy reserves quickly." Medical Officer Dr. Helen Gray's voice came through the communication system. "Captain, I need to report something important. The reality distortions are affecting different crew members in different ways. Some people are adapting quickly, while others are having severe problems." "What kind of problems?" Jake asked. "Confusion, disorientation, memory loss. It's like their minds can't handle the shifting physics, but about half the crew seems to be adjusting naturally." Jake realized this was another example of human adaptability. Some people could handle quantum reality better than others. The first Devourer ship came into clear view, and Jake immediately understood why they were so terrifying. It wasn't really a ship at all. It was a hole in space shaped like a vessel. Where it should have had a hull, there was only emptiness that hurt to look at. "Quantum anchors ready?" Mike announced from the engine room. "But Captain, I don't know how to use them." The watchers sent instructions that appeared directly in Jake's mind. He suddenly understood how to think in quantum terms, how to feel the patterns of reality and lock them into stable forms. "All hands prepare for combat," Jake ordered. "This is going to be unlike any battle in human history." The lead Devourer ship fired its weapon, and a section of space simply ceased to exist. One of the Watcher structures vanished completely, leaving not even debris behind. "Fire quantum anchors," Jake commanded. The Discovery's new weapons activated, sending streams of crystalline energy toward the Devourer fleet. Where the quantum anchors hit, reality solidified. The shadow ship suddenly became visible and solid, no longer able to exist outside normal physics. "It's working," Ryan Bell called out. "The anchors are forcing them into our reality." But the victory was short-lived. More Devourer ships appeared, dozens of them. The Discovery's energy reserves were dropping rapidly with each shot. "Captain," Dr. Parker reported, "we can't maintain this rate of fire. We need more power, more ships, more everything." Jake realized they were seeing just a small part of the Devourer fleet. The real war would require every species in the galaxy working together. "All stations, prepare for emergency departure," Jake ordered. "We need to get back to our galaxy and warn everyone. The Watchers have given us the tools to fight, but we can't win this battle alone." As the Discovery prepared to retreat toward the barrier, Jake knew their exploration mission had become something much more important. They were now the messengers who would either unite the galaxy in time to save it, or watch everything they loved disappear into nothingness. Captain Jake Morrison watched the barrier grow larger on the main screen as the Discovery raced back toward their home galaxy. Behind them, flashes of light showed where the Watchers were still fighting the Devourer fleet. But Jake knew the Ancient. Guardians couldn't hold them back for long. "Captain, the barrier opening is getting smaller," Navigator Alex Turner reported. "We have maybe 10 minutes before it closes completely." "Push the engines harder," Jake ordered. Chief Engineer Mike Bradley's voice came back strained. "I'm giving you everything we have, Captain. The quantum anchor systems are still drawing power, making it hard to maintain full speed." Dr. Lisa Parker was monitoring the barrier's energy patterns. "Captain, I think I understand something important. Our passage through the wall created a resonance frequency. Other human ships might be able to use the same frequency to break through." Commander Kate Walsh looked hopeful. "You mean we could send more ships to help the Watchers?" "More than that," Lisa said excitedly. "We could create a permanent gateway. Human ships could serve as transports for a joint galactic fleet." The Discovery shot through the closing barrier just as it sealed shut behind them. Jake felt relief wash over him as familiar stars appeared on the view screen. They were home, but now they had to convince everyone that an impossible war was coming. Lieutenant Sam Rodriguez was already working on communications. "Captain, I'm sending priority messages to Earth Command and the Galactic Council, but they're going to think we're crazy." Jake knew Sam was right. The story of reality-eating monsters and ancient energy beings sounded like something from a bad science fiction movie. "Send them everything. All our sensor data, recordings of the Watcher communications, and the quantum anchor technology specifications." 3 days later, the Discovery arrived at Galactic Council Station. Jake had never seen the massive space station so busy. Ships from dozens of different species were docked at every available port. The news had spread quickly through the galaxy. The council chamber was packed when Jake and his crew arrived to give their report. Tall, elegant Altarians sat next to short, muscular Draxi. The insect-like Zephyrians chittered nervously, while the gas cloud Nebulans floated in their containment suits. Council leader Vextar, a 6-armed Centaurian, called for order. "Captain Morrison, your report describes threats that seem impossible to believe. Reality-destroying entities? Ancient guardians made of pure energy? You ask us to risk everything based on these claims. Jake stood up slowly. He had practiced this speech during the journey home. Honored Counsel, I know how it sounds, but I've brought proof. Dr. Amy Foster activated the holographic projector. Images of the Watchers filled the chamber, followed by recordings of their communications. Then came the terrifying footage of the Devourers, their shadow ships bending space around them. The chamber fell silent as the aliens watched reality itself breaking down around the Discovery. Several council members made sounds of fear or disbelief in their native languages. These quantum anchor weapons, said Treasurer Kulik of the Draxi. Your report claims only humans can operate them effectively. This seems convenient for your species. Jake had expected this accusation. We didn't ask for this responsibility. The Watchers explained that human thinking patterns work differently than other species. We're chaotic and unpredictable, which helps us understand quantum reality. Dr. Parker stepped forward with a portable quantum anchor device the Watchers had given them. We can demonstrate. This small version won't hurt anyone, but it will show how the technology works. She activated the device and a sphere of crystalline energy surrounded her. Inside the sphere, everything looked perfectly normal, but outside, the council members could see space and time bending around it. The quantum anchor creates a zone where the laws of physics cannot be changed, Parker explained. Inside this field, the Devourers lose their power to destroy reality. The demonstration convinced many council members, but others remained skeptical. The debates went on for hours. Some species wanted to flee to other galaxies. Others wanted to hide behind stronger barriers. A few suggested surrendering to the Devourers before they arrived. It was Commander Walsh who finally convinced them. She stood up and addressed the council with quiet authority. We can argue about what to believe, but while we debate, the barrier is weakening. In less than 1 year, it will fail completely. We can either work together now or we can all die separately later. The vote was close, but the alliance passed. Every major species agreed to contribute ships, technology, and personnel to the defense fleet. The humans would serve as quantum anchor operators and transport ships for moving between galaxies. Over the following months, Jake found himself commanding not just the Discovery, but an entire task force of human vessels. Dr. Parker had figured out how to teach the barrier-breaking technique to other human captains. Soon, dozens of ships were traveling back and forth through the weakening barrier. The Watchers were amazed by how quickly the Galactic Alliance came together. They had expected years of preparation, but human diplomacy and alien engineering combined to create the largest fleet in galactic history in just 8 months. Navigator Turner had been promoted to Admiral Turner, commanding the Human Transport Division. Captain, the final fleet is ready. We have over 10,000 ships from 200 species, all equipped with quantum anchors. Jake looked out at the assembled armada through the Discovery's view screen. Ships of every size and shape floated in perfect formation. Sleek Altarian cruisers flew alongside massive Draxi battleships. Tiny Zephyrian fighters swarmed around huge Nebulan carriers. The Watchers report that the barrier will fail completely in 3 days, Dr. Foster announced from her communication station. The Devourer fleet is massing for a full invasion. Jake felt the weight of command settle on his shoulders. In 3 days, they would face an enemy that had destroyed entire galactic civilizations. But for the first time since breaking through the barrier, he felt hope. All ships prepare for final transit, Jake ordered. We're going to end this war once and for all. As the combined fleet moved toward the barrier, Jake realized that humanity's greatest discovery hadn't been breaking through the wall. It had been bringing everyone together to defend what they all loved. The real battle was about to begin, but they would face it united.